Hey, how's it going? Today I'm going to teach you how to learn the Nashville Number System quickly on bass so you can be prepared for moments in your worship set like this.
3, 5, quarters.
Alright, so if you're fairly new to playing on stage with an MD, these numbers might be kind of confusing and seem unnecessary to learn. But now before you start arguing that, I don't need an MD to be giving me numbers during a set, as long as you learn your songs, an MD is useless. I'd rather just learn the chords like a normal person. Let me give you 3 reasons why learning the number system is going to greatly improve your playing. The first reason why learning the number system is going to improve your bass playing is it's going to make learning and performing songs a lot easier. Learning things such as common progressions like 1, 2, 6, 4 or 4, 5, 6, 3 make it easier to recognize those patterns in a song and make it quicker and easier to learn. Take for example a moment in one of my sets a few months ago. I had the wrong chord chart, but instead of having to find a new chord chart and finding what seemed to be an entire new song, my MD was able to just call numbers and I could play along perfectly and learn the song while I was performing it. Knowing the numbers will also help you perform if your MD calls a progression that's different than the progression of the original song. And the second reason is that it helps band cohesion. Take for example the progression from Who Else, the song from earlier, that goes 4, 5, 6, 1, 5. But instead, I had the idea, what if instead we took 4, 5, 6, 3, 5. But if none of my band members understood what those numbers corresponded to, then they wouldn't have been able to follow that progression. As MDs, we have the ability to make the songs in our set list flow together better through things such as using a chord progression or idea from later in the set, and implementing it in the current song to have a more cohesive set and overall improve the worshiping of the congregation. The third reason you should learn the number system is it will help improve your utilization of scales. All music is built off of scales, and learning the notes of those scales and intervals help you learn to better use that scale while playing fills and other parts. Take for example this lick from my cover of The Blood.
It's never been about deserving or earning. It's a gift that's free to give. Let me tell you, it's only by the blood. Oh, does anybody wanna be holy? They're right.
I know that in The Blood the progression is 1, 4, 5 for the majority of the song, so if I have a lick where I know I'm going to start on the 1 and end up on the 4 with a 5 somewhere in between, it's helpful to incorporate those notes to make the fill fit in the song better. Alright, now that I've hopefully convinced you why learning the number system is a worthwhile use of your time, let's go over how to learn the number system on bass. Alright, now that we've got our bass here, let's find a few anchor points to base our numbers off of. Our first anchor point is the root note. Whatever the key of the song you're playing is, the root's going to be home bass. So for the sake of our demonstration here, that's going to be A major, right here on the 5th fret of the E string. Now our second anchor point to find is our 4th. Guitars and basses are tuned in intervals called fourths, meaning that as you go from your E string to your A string, that's your 4th. And it's the same from your A to your D and to your D to the G. So if we take a root note here on the A and go directly under it, there's our 4th. Our last anchor point is an octave. An octave on a guitar and bass is always 2 strings down and 2 frets over. Now the rest of the notes, starting with the second. This guy is a whole step up from the neck from the first, next to the 5th, and if the 4th is directly under the 1st, then the 5th will be directly under the 2nd. And this rule carries over as well for the 3rd and the 6th. And finally is the 7th, which is the last note of the scale. Every one of the 7 modal scales has 7 notes, and on the 8th it repeats back to the root note, the octave. So if we go here to the octave, go back 1 fret, there's our 7th. Now to learn the major scale completely, here's a quick mnemonic to remember the distance between all the notes. We walk home when we walk home.
Shout out my old guitar teacher for that one.
Every W in the mnemonic is a whole step, and every H is a half step. Now to walk through this mnemonic real quick, starting on the 1, we, whole step, 2, walk, whole step, 3rd, home, half step, 4, you can also find your 3rd here, when, whole step, 5th, we, whole step, 6th, walk, whole step, 7, home, half step, 8, octave. I hope this video has been helpful. If you got any more questions, let me know in the comments. Other than that, have a great rest of your day.